All right, buddy. Lucas, Isaac, Parker. We're up to the last of the story cars, the 2010 Olson GTR AMC, which is also known as a Mercedes-Benz. So we'll finish up this guide video, the 30th. That'll move us into the one more video that I'll do beyond this as far as the guide series goes. Will just be kind of some thoughts, tips, maybe a top 10 of where I would take the game from here once you get through all the story cars. So without further ado, let's read this story here from the 2010 Olson GTR AMC. Hey y'all, I just got a huge injection of cash after a casino trip. I decided to get a sports car. I always wanted something fancy that would get attention. Unfortunately, I trusted my neighbor who's a mechanic. The car is beautiful, I can't deny. The only thing that bothers me is driving it. I'm getting the impression something's wrong. On top of that, despite the power that this GTR is supposed to show, it doesn't exactly scream sophistication. Please check if everything is as it should be, because I don't know if I'll have to think about something new. Alternatively, try to dig into it. Perhaps you'll manage to spark a bit more power in this engine because it gives me zero emotions for now. Thanks. If the car gave you zero emotions and you had a whole bunch of money from the casino, buy a better car. Even though this is a pretty badass car, so I don't know what the guy's problem is. That's the trouble of dealing with customers, right? Never know. People like what they like. So let's take the order. Actually, that's pretty slick. I like the silver. It looks like the body's in decent shape compared to a lot of the cars that we've had to deal with. Actually, it doesn't even look that dirty. Surprisingly. We might not even take this one to the car wash to start it. I mean, it actually looks clean. Anywho, let's read the parts are not discovered. We only have one part to fix, or one page of parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 parts. And we just have to increase its tuning by 35 to 40%. So we got some tuning to do on this bad boy. So we're going to have to do some planning and some math, because 35 to 40%, you have to hit that percentage pretty close to and not go over it. So let's at least start with some diagnostics, right? This is that supercharged V8, which I've already mentioned. I really enjoy this particular engine. A 10 to 1, just looking ahead at the screen. I don't know if you guys can see it. I think it's a bad fuel pump back there, the fuel tank. That is rusty. But let's do an onboard diagnostic scan to get ourselves started. See where this goes. %. ECU type A is at 52%. Is that, yep, there you go. Now, interestingly, the ECU typically is the electrical control unit on the firewall. That is a performance part. ECUA. So I'm going to keep track of the percentages that we're throwing out on these parts here, so that we can kind of gauge when we hit 35%. So we have pen and paper, pen, paper. It's very simple. 6%. So I'm going to write down 6%. That's where we're at right now, because we're going to buy the Stage 3 ECUA, which gives us a 6% performance boost. Part mount, put the ECUA on. There we go. We got that done. As far as first step diagnostics, do a compression test. See what kind of bars we get here. We're in the green, so we probably got good compression, so the motor's probably fine. Supercharger's at 54%. And they want that replaced. Okay. Now, if we look at the performance store, we can get a supercharger. Is this the supercharger? Yeah, pretty sure it's the supercharger V8. Overhead valve one? Is that the right one? Well, let's just check the parts list. Way to do that, if you go to your car information, there should be a list of parts. Probably got to go to car details. Well, no, because it's not a car I own, so I can't look at the parts list. Dang it. V8 dual overhead cam supercharged. Well, heck. Just to make sure we know what we're getting into here. I think it's the V8. Well, let's finish our diagnostics, then we'll get into that. Compression test, electronic multimeter. Because if we have to replace the supercharger, we might as well put the performance one on. See how much of a performance boost we get from that. Okay, electronics are okay. And tread, even though not gonna get performance tires. Slicks don't increase performance, even though they increase the actual. Well, they improve how well you hold traction. They don't improve the horsepower rating of the car. Fuel pressure test, sure. Fuel pump, told you. And the fuel rails are bad. So I'm pretty sure they're going to want us to replace those, right? Fuel rail and fuel pump. Now, that's easy. Just pull the fuel rails because they sit right here. As well as the fuel pump, which sits back here. Now these are performance parts. I'll clear on my list. Now the supercharger, I think it's this one. It's either this one or this one. No, actually, it's probably no. Those are the carb ones, so it's this one. So it'll be a 5% increase for the supercharger. Yeah, because there's the throttle body on the side, so it's that one. I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. So that gives us 5% for that supercharger, plus the 6 from our ECU. So we're at 11% performance boost. Fuel. We want a fuel pump, which gives us 1.5%. So we're up to 12.5% boost. And fuel rail. DIs. So 2 of those, that gives us 8%. So we're up to 20.5%. Like that. Okay. Part mount. Performance fuel pump. Then we'll put on these performance fuel rails. Okay. So there's still some parts we have not yet discovered that are broke. Just for fun, let's take her for... We haven't done this for a while. Let's fire it up, make sure she starts. It does not appear to start. Alright. And you cannot be started. I'm aware. Alright, why can't you start? Got a bad starter? No? We replaced the supercharger. Should not make it not start. What in the world is making this sumbug not start? Put a fuel pump in. Put the fuel pump in, didn't I? Yeah. Well, that is a mystery. We need the compression test, onboard scan. Huh. Well, let's do this. Let's do examine mode on the engine. There's something else we're missing here. Air filters, sometimes if they're clogged, it'll have trouble starting because you're not getting air. Got a bad belt, it looks like. That wouldn't make it not start. On the exhaust, again, not something that would interfere with starting the car. Okay. Normal mode. Serpentine belt, yeah, they want us to change on that. Okay. Air filtre is okay. I'm betting the suspension systems are fine. We're going to go ahead and inspect it. Looks like a drive axle on the back there that might be bad. Two drive axles that look bad. Well, that's the other parts that are repaired, so now we just have to improve the performance. I don't get why it's not starting. I don't see how a serpentine belt, it might be the belt, but even a 50% belt is still going to fire up. Let's do those drive axles in the rear real quick. That'll be a quick, easy part repair. Then we just have to find another 15% performance boost, which the exhaust might be an easy way to hit that. Another easy way might be the ignition system, like spark plugs, ignition coils. That would be pretty easy. I don't remember if drive axles are a repairable part. Let me test. Hey, they are. And these, the fuel rails that we pulled and the fuel pump are repairable, so we can repair these and keep them for our own inventory of parts. Put on the nice repaired one. And pop over the other side, and we'll just purchase one. Hop on the wheels. Alright, let's address the engine issues. So we know we're pulling the supercharger. Pop off this throttle. What is the performance boost from the throttle? 1.67%. It's not huge, but I think we're going to go ahead and do that. So we got a throttle, 1.65. That kicks us up to 21. 22. .15% right now. Okay. Which air filter is this? Plain air filter? which would be a percent. That might be an easy one to take too, right? Pop these clips off. Top, pop the air filter. I think it's just a plain air filter. Still a percent. Alright, mount. Performance air filter. That kicks us up another percent, so we're up to 23.15. Okay. Wrap on some clips. Okay. And get it here in the front of the engine, we'll pull that belt. When I get to that back belt, you gotta take off the front belt first. Maybe I'll get to it. Kinda hard to get back here. And that pulley, then you can pull this. And that pulley. Find which pulley. I think there's a tensioner. There it is. Got the tensioner, and we'll get this serpentine belt. Now, other easy parts here. Power steering pump. Part mount. That's 1.5%. Which will kick us up to 24.65%. The alternator on the other side here, since we already have the belt off, take that off. Clear that. And the alternator is another 1.5. To kick us up to 26.15%. Okay. And pop up here to the top, part unmount. Let's get that supercharger off. Oh, we gotta pop the fuel res up. Take the intake off too, because that manifold is 3%, which kicks us to 29.15. Part mount, manifold in, the supercharged, tuned up supercharger, tuned up fuel rails, tuned up throttle, and we need new belts. Serpentine belt. That one we can put the original on. Get that tensioner on. So let's use the original. It's a 99% one. Okay, that's on. And that one pulley. 99% pulley. Okay. Now we just need another 6%. Right? So if I pop these off, right here, I'm going to pull a plug and a coil. Plug, coil. Tab. Let's go to the performance store. Ignition coils are percent. So if we did just below a percent, 0.75. And a spark plug is that. So if we did the plug and a coil, that's basically percent. So if we did 4 down the one side, that would be about 4%. That would be just below. So I think if we just do the plugs and the ignition coils, so if we do 8 plugs and 8 ignition coils. Just easy to get to because they're right on top of this motor. That should kick us well into the 35, because that, even if that's 10, that would be between 35 and 40%. Plug, oil, plug, oil, plug, oil. And that's a job like this. This gives you some leeway as far as what I mean, do you want to replace the heads, the exhaust, the intake manifold? You can do what you wanted to do here as far as which parts to replace. You don't have to replace the same parts I'm placing. This is just what I chose to pick on. Partially because I thought these were easy parts. They're parts that I had to repair anyway. Some of them at least, like the supercharger and the fuel pump part mount. Put on a plug and a coil. Plug, coil, and then plug and another coil. Coil cover. And if we go to our other task, we're well within that. Close the hood up. Our status, $60,000 repair for this job. There we go. We got a case, and we have some parts that we can repair and parts that we could sell. Repair-wise, that throttle body we took off is a repairable part. Oh, the couple of clips we took off, those were repairable. Same for the power steering pump, the alternator, the supercharger, and the intake manifold that we took off. So now those are parts that are at 100%. If I go to my inventory, I'm just going to sell everything below 98%. And we have a few parts that are 99% that we'll just sell. And we have a case. Yeah, let's open the case. Do a 1 and a 2. What do you say? 1, 2. XP and a case. All right, we're starting off good. Do a 3 and a 4. No case. All right, save the game. So right now, I believe we'll head out here. You have just finished the 30th and final story car. So it kind of taught you how to tune a car and shoot for a particular percentage. Some of these jobs that you can pick up here will have a little wrench. Those are jobs that may have performance boosting on there. They may say boost by X%. So that's how I would do it. Just write it on a sheet of paper. So the next guide video, I'm going to give you guys kind of my thoughts and commentary on where I would take the, I'm going to call it in-game, but where I would take Car Mechanic Simulator from here on out, as far as what gameplay options would I be looking for, what things would I want to do. We'll probably do one full junkyard restoration to show you how much money you can make off one of those, and then just some other thoughts and tips, ideas. If there's ideas that Lucas, Isaac Parker, or anyone else wants as far as thoughts or comments, I'm happy to add that into that next video as well. But I will see you in the next guide video, and then beyond that, as far as car mechanic videos, I think I'll get back into my 3-star series pretty consistently. So, Lucas, Isaac Parker, hope you enjoyed the 30th one here. I will see you in the next. Take her easy.